What's going on, everybody? Fragged out, swagged out, and you already know why I'm here. Today, I'm talking about this fragrance right here. If you caught my reel from Primera Perfumes a few weeks ago, I got 3 fragrances in that package, and this is one of them. This is Knightsbridge Oud, and man, if you love oud, this is something you're gonna want to check out. It's different. It doesn't behave like your traditional super animalic, heavy Middle Eastern ouds, but there is oud in here. It's very noticeable. It's very prominent, but it does a lot of special things, and it makes it a type of oud fragrance that you can wear throughout the year, even in an office environment, and that's what I really find special about this fragrance. So, without further ado, let's talk about the notes. The notes are spices, herbs, and lime on the top. In the middle, you're going to get sandalwood, cedarwood, vanilla, and lemongrass. And then in the base, you're going to get musk, Indian, oud, laos. Now, I've never seen an oud written in that way. I've seen Indian oud. I've seen Laotian oud. Never seen Indian oud, laos. So I'm assuming it's a blend, but I can't be sure right now. And then you have ambergris and patchouli. So let's talk about the fragrance first of all, right? Or the title. Knightsbridge Oud. So if you know about Knightsbridge in London, it's where you have Harrods, right? It's where you have a lot of high society, a lot of affluent neighborhoods, a lot of expensive restaurants. It's where the money's at. It's a very high fashion area. So it's a fancy location representing luxury and all those great things in life. And this is the oud that Primera has made to represent that kind of high level fragrance. And let me tell you personally, I think they hit it on the head. This is not the kind of oud that's going to make someone feel like I can't wear that, or it's fecal, animalic, blah, blah, blah. This works on so many levels. So I already have some over here that typically do. I put some earlier, and I'm going to take you through what I perceive the transitioning to be on skin. And now, is it oud? It's absolutely oud. Now, a lot of people have that question like, well, how do you know it's real oud? Well, it smells like oud. I can't tell you how it was developed or who cultivated. I'm telling you that this smells like oud. So, like I said, in the top, it says spice, herbs, and lime. When you smell this in the opening, you get the base first, or at least to my nose, you get that oud and you get that patchouli front. Some spices, a little bit of herb, but it's patchouli and oud front and center. And from that initial blast, you would think this is just a monstrous oud fragrance that may be too much for the common consumer. But the reality is this initial blast of really strong, and this is why I do think it's oud in here, because if you smelled Indian oud, you know how strong Indian oud is. And this is powerful in the opening. It has a very strong smell. It's not fecal. It's not nasty. It's not funky, but it's powerful, projecting and strong. You have that oud feel, that woody oud, authentic oud smell with that patchouli. And it's a blend that I truly do love, especially in this weather. So that's going to last on skin in this particular kind of strong oud patchouli vibe for about 5 to 10 minutes, maybe closer to 5 and 10, it starts transitioning. And as it transitions, a lot of the other stuff is going to come up. And you get what you get over here, which is this arm right here is why I say you can wear this to work. If you work in an office environment, it's not going to be off-putting. You will get noticed, but it's not going to be one of those you're wearing a date fragrance or a club fragrance or a crazy barnyardy oud. It's not that. So as it starts transitioning, some of that lime is going to start cutting through to give it a little bit of freshness, and that ambergris jumps in as well to do that. So you're not going to get that really overly overpowering oud as it starts to move down. What you're going to start to get is some of those woody elements outside of the oud, that sandalwood, that cedarwood, and that sandalwood and that vanilla in the mid is going to start giving it this kind of woody, creamy, vanillic vibe. Now, when I say vanillic, this is not going to turn to a sweet fragrance. So don't think this is going to be like a sweet oud. If that's what you look for, it's not that. It's more of a natural vanilla. So think about the little sweet nuances you can get from a natural vanilla, from vanilla bean, but don't think of this as a syrupy vanilla that's going to be added to an oud. It's not that. It's closer to the natural representation of vanilla mixed with that cedar and sandalwood to give it a nice creamy, woody, and vanillic touch, still being overly oud and patchouli. Like the heart of this fragrance is the patchouli and oud combo here. But like I said, you start to get some of those natural vanilla, those woody, smooth, creamy kind of woody vibe here. And man, it turns so nice. And this here, like I said, is why I say it can be an everyday. This is not something that would be off-putting to anybody. It can be. I guess everything can be off-putting to somebody. But it's nothing too overpowering. It's not some of those animalic, really strong ouds that you can't deal with. This smells like an elegant, classy oud fragrance. And the reality is that some of the best ouds in the world, you couldn't wear the bow tie event anyway. It would be too much. This seems like something that goes with a suit and tie. In fact, as much as I love this, I don't see myself wearing this fragrance in day-to-day kind of streetwear, casual wear. It's more, a little bit more dressed up. It smells sophisticated. It smells like it belongs at an office. It smells like it belongs with, at minimum, a blazer. It does smell fancier than a lot of other things. So this is a dress-up kind of fragrance, I feel. Yeah. The transition is amazing. I love how it really goes from that very strong, like it lets you know from the beginning, I'm oud and patchouli. And as it blends, you start getting those woods and that vanilla, that lime, that herb, that spice. And it starts to develop into this more day-to-day fragrance. Now, if you work in an office environment, I definitely think you can pull this off. But you have to like oud. You do have to like oud. This is, although it's a lot of other things that make it useful in a more traditional environment, a day-to-day environment, this does not shy away from being oud. So if you don't like it, this is not for you. If your interpretation of oud is oud satin mood, for example, this is not that. This is an oud forward fragrance with patchouli, vanilla, and sandalwood, mainly for me, to my nose, and then those spices and that lime and the ambergris that help lighten up the load and make it to where you actually can wear it. But you have to like oud first. If you don't, this will be a major fail for you. This is an amazing, amazing fragrance from Primera Perfumes. They have a couple of fragrances that represent London, because they have London, they have English Blazer. But this, I think, so far is my favorite one. Just a bang out job. And I think it's because that oud is done so well, and it does stand front and center, but still it's a fragrance that you can wear every day and will not be off-putting to the people around you. Like always, that's all I have for you guys. If you like this, go ahead and actually give it a like instead of just nodding your head. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps me, you know, to build the channel, and it gives me motivation to do more reviews. And if you have a question, how to find them, all that information, I'll put that in the comments. But you can leave a question and I always respond. So if you have a question, hit me up. And again, that is this time all I have for you. This is fragged out, swagged out, and I'm out.